Hey, LarkenRose here, and lots of conspiracy theorists are out there celebrating the fact that they've been completely vindicated for all the things they said about COVID, about the masks, about the jabs, about the fear-mongering, about the actual threat to people. All that stuff, pretty much every single piece of what they've been saying has now been conceded by the Select Subcommittee on the Coronavirus Pandemic. Congress has just, the subcommittee I just mentioned, has released a 500-page report on the COVID pandemic. Here are some of the things that it admits, and you'll understand why lots of people are like, see, we were telling you. We were being banned, we were being demonized, we were being, harassed, shut down, fired, whatever. We told you, and now they're finally saying it. Yay, we're vindicated. So, some of the things this report admits. The origins of the coronavirus pandemic, including but not limited to the federal government's funding of gain-of-function research. Oh, that's their topic heading. Basically, quote, from their report, congressional report, COVID most likely emerged from a laboratory in Wuhan, China. Some other people were saying that, weren't they? And they all got banned, and they got demonized, and they got ridiculed, and it goes into several arguments of why the report goes into several arguments of why they think that's the case. Talks about gain-of-function research, where psychos working for the government are basically trying to study viruses that are more lethal to human beings. Gee, what could possibly go wrong? Well, going wrong implies that wasn't their intention, but whatever. Setting that aside, National Institute for Health failures. Their procedures for funding and overseeing potentially dangerous research are deficient, unreliable, and pose a serious threat to both public health and national security, says this report. They talk about how much fraud and waste there was and people throwing money around because, oh my gosh, it's an emergency, here's money, and how a ton of it was just wasted or went to fraud and abuse and all sorts of things. Quote, the implementation or effectiveness of any federal law or regulation applied, enacted, or under consideration to address the coronavirus pandemic and prepare for future pandemics. And then they go through a bunch of things that were complete catastrophes. World Health Organization report says WHO's response to the COVID-19 pandemic was an abject failure. It goes on about why. Talks about social distancing and says the 6 feet apart social distancing recommendation, which shut down schools and small businesses across the country, was arbitrary and not based on science. Totally true. Some of us were saying that. Mask mandates. There was no conclusive evidence. This is a congressional report saying these things. Quote, there was no conclusive evidence that masks effectively protected Americans from COVID-19. Public health officials flip-flopped on the efficacy of masks without providing American scientific data, which caused a massive uptick in public distrust. Gee whiz. Talked about lockdowns and prolonged lockdowns caused immeasurable harm to not only the American economy, but also to the mental and physical health of Americans, with a particularly negative effect on younger citizens. Gee whiz, I did a video all about that called Lockdowns, Pointless, Stupid, and Evil, and it got taken down by YouTube. You've probably never seen that video because they took it down. Gets into the New York pandemic, how they extra screwed it up there and basically killed people. Talked about COVID misinformation. That's a bit ironic. Public health officials, not the crazy conspiracy theories, but public health officials often spread misinformation through conflicting messaging, knee-jerk reactions, and a lack of transparency. And talked about how they demonized people who were actually talking about true things. Quote, contrary to what was promised, the COVID-19 vaccine did not stop the spread or transmission of the virus. This is a congressional report saying these things. Talks about how the FDA rushed approval of the vaccine in order to meet the Biden administration's arbitrary mandate timeline. Talked about the vaccine mandates. They're not supported by science and caused more harm than good. That is what their report said. Public health officials engaged in a coordinated effort to ignore natural immunity. Another thing I talked about, tons of people talked about. We were silenced and condemned and all that fun stuff. They talk about vaccine injury reporting system, how that was stomped. how the compensation for vaccine injuries is doing a horrible job of all that. Then they went into the economic impact of all the stupid crap government did, and the societal impact from closing schools and so on and so forth. So they go through this, just slice and dice the whole government response to the pandemic, and basically confirm almost every single crazy, kooky claim made by the conspiracy theorists. Now Congress has come out and said, yeah, you were right about all that. Lots of pro-freedom people are celebrating this, and there's reason to. Like, I totally sympathize, and saying, this is so awesome, we're vindicated, we told you. Let me warn you, I'm going to swear in this video. My response to this report is, you evil pieces of shit. The fuckers who wrote this knew it the whole fucking time, and none of them said a goddamn thing about it. They're waiting till now because they got caught pushing this evil authoritarian bullshit, and now they want to pretend that they're concerned and outraged about it. You lying sacks of shit. Where were you when some of us was saying this when it actually mattered? When lives were already on the line, when you were already torturing little children? Where the fuck were the people who now posted this report? Nowhere, because they're evil fucks, and they knew all of this was happening the whole fucking time. And now they want credit for pointing it out and exposing the abuse and the injustice. You evil shits. Now, what's my first clue? Because in their bullshit report, they say, President Trump's rapidly implementing travel restrictions saved lives. No, they fucking didn't. And you just demonstrated this is just political maneuvering. You didn't give a fuck about the truth. If you did, you would have said it back when it mattered, instead of, oh, look at this abuse. That was you fuckers. Along with every other piece of shit in Congress, with like 2 exceptions who got silenced and demonized and condemned the whole time. The rest of you evil fucks, you knew all this. And now you want credit for saying, oh, we're very concerned about the harm. No, you're fucking not. You're very concerned about the political cost of the people figuring out what a bunch of evil shits run the government, so you want to pretend that that isn't you. You lying sacks of shit. You knew this the whole fucking time. And when I was talking about it, I mean, my voice is this big on the internet, but when a zillion other people were talking about all of these, you didn't do a fucking thing to defend them. You didn't do a fucking thing to try to spread the truth. At best, you quietly sat there and let the people telling the truth be condemned and silenced and fired and harassed and demonized over and over again. But now that you think you can get some political mileage out of pretending to be outraged, you're going to play this stupid fucking game, including this, quote, from the same report. President-elect Trump's Operation Warp Speed, which encouraged the rapid development and authorization of the COVID-19 vaccine, was highly successful and helped save millions of lives. You lying pieces of shit. What a joke. What an absolute lie. All these assholes are doing is trying to position themselves on the side of the people. We're outraged on your behalf that they did this to you. You did this to them. Every single fucking member of Congress, like I said, with like 2 exceptions who dared to talk about it. You're all evil pieces of shit. And saying the truth now that everybody already knows it, now that everybody already found out about it, that doesn't make you brave and courageous. It doesn't make you honest. It makes you an opportunistic, evil piece of shit. And that's exactly what the fuckers who wrote this report are. Yeah, I'm glad that they've now officially, loudly admitted that what I was saying and lots of other people were saying was totally true the whole time. But they're not doing it because they give a fuck about justice or give a fuck about the truth. They're doing it because the one thing they care about, their own wealth and power, is at risk from the people figuring out this evil shit. So they're now trying to play the game where we're on your side. This is an outrage what they did to you. You did it, you evil shits. And I think it's a mistake for people to be going, rah, 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 we're vindicated, without noticing, look who it is who's saying it. Where were you? What were you saying when this was happening? Were you so fucking stupid that you didn't know it was going to harm children? To torture them with these stupid fucking masks that don't do anything, and shutting down school and isolate and scare the crap out of everybody? You were so fucking stupid you didn't know until some study showed you? You lying sacks of shit. You evil fuckers. You deserve every bit of condemnation that the Democrats do, because you did the same fucking things. Yeah, I'm glad the truth got out. By the way, somebody, I won't mention any, me, exactly predicted exactly this. So here's from a post of mine from June 4th, 2021. I had to remove a paragraph because when I posted it, Facebook deleted it and threatened to close my account. So this is from 2021. I think I actually posted something earlier. Quote, if I seem pissed off, it's because I'm pissed off. Because evil shits who tortured little children now want to pretend to be valiant warriors for freedom. Evil fucks. So, here's something I said back in June of 2021. Where were these guys in June of 2021? Where were they speaking out against, nowhere to be heard. Here's what I was saying, quote, I guess now we're headed into the phase where the mainstream news starts to admit that they were completely fucking wrong for all of 2020. Of course, they don't say that outright. They reconsider and re-examine some things as if they are being wise and scientific. The only reason they are doing this is to lessen the blow when more people realize how utterly full of shit the government and the entire mainstream media was the whole damn time. This is 100% psychological propaganda and 0% science and honest reporting. They're backing up in stages, so number one, they look like truth tellers after all their previous lies and fear-mongering fall apart. And number two, to reduce how pissed off the people are going to be when they learn the truth. This is their covering their asses reaction. They don't like having to do this at all, but they want to water down the truth and muddy the waters so people don't completely abandon their bullshit. It's not because they suddenly care about the truth, it's because they care about their own relevance and the possible backlash from people finding out what a bunch of spineless lying puppets the entire mainstream was for all of 2020. The good news is their bullshit is crumbling and they know it. They're now in damage control mode. And I did a bunch of posts, like this one. Quote, in the coming years, a lot of people and organizations will be doing damage control after pushing this despicable agenda. Here's another one. This is May 30th, 2021. Me posting on Facebook. Quote, when the political parasites start to admit that a conspiracy theory was true all along, it's because they know they're about to get caught and they think it looks better if you hear it from them before everyone finds out. Okay, think of that report. Maybe even have that report in front of you, because I'm going to read that one again. When the political parasites, that's Democrat and Republican, start to admit that a conspiracy theory was true all along, it's because they know they're about to get caught and they think it looks better if you hear it from them before everyone finds out. That is the only reason that report came out. The only reason. It has nothing to do with any of those political pieces of shit giving a fuck about the harm done by the federal government and all their various mandates and restrictions and all that bullshit. And the dead giveaway is they pretend, oh, well, Trump's travel restrictions, that was good. No, that was fucking stupid too, and they know it. But now they're sidling up to Trump. Well, now he's going to be president, so we'll kiss his ass and we'll play this dance. And that was one of many things I explained. If you have a country over here with a contagious disease in it, and you have a country over here with a contagious disease in it, the same one, putting a wall in between doesn't fucking do anything. It's already in both places. That was the travel restrictions. Well, you can only fly if you have a vaccine for international. All of that is fucking stupid. And they're pretending, no, this part, Trump liked it, so Trump was right about this. And Operation Warp Speed, that was great. That was great that he pushed this experimental bullshit vaccine and then declared a national emergency that allowed them to do a bunch of the authoritarian crap they did. No, that was good. It's those other you evil shits. None of them give a fuck about you. None of them give a fuck about the harm this did. None of them care about a single word in this report they released. Tells lots of truth and a few bullshit lies to try to hang on to their own influence. They're not telling you this truth because they're concerned about what has been done to the American people. They're telling you this truth because they're concerned about what the American people might want to do to them after they got caught doing this shit. Do not forgive these fuckers. Do not forgive Trump. Don't pretend he wasn't a vaccine pusher. Don't pretend he wasn't over, oh, this is the most beautiful vaccine, pushing it on everybody. Don't pretend he wasn't doing that. Don't pretend he didn't declare the national emergency that allowed for a whole bunch of spending and bullshit mandates and stuff. Don't fall for this bullshit trick where some of the lying scumbags who were absolutely part of this and benefited from it pretend that, no, we're on your side. It's those other scumbags who are the bad. Fuck all of you. Everyone in Congress, everyone who signed off on this report, fuck you. Some of us see through your shit. We know the evil pieces of shit you are, and you feigning concern and compassion at this late hour, go fuck yourselves. So, yeah, I'm thrilled that they have now been forced into telling the truth about a bunch of these things. They didn't want to. They're not doing it by choice. They're not doing it because they give a crap about the truth. They're doing it because the lie got away from them, which is what I said from the beginning was going to happen. These lies will not be permanent. They're going to fall apart. They're going to have to admit they lied. Watch out for when they do, because when they do, some of them are going to try to pretend this is an outrage. Yeah, it's an outrage all of you fuckers imposed on us. And I give you zero fucking forgiveness for your stupid fucking report, even though it says a bunch of true things. Because you knew all of those true things the whole fucking time that you were ruining lives and torturing children. Every political parasite out there, go fuck yourselves.